There were demonstrations over the war in Gaza outside the convention center ahead of President Biden's speech. Relatively subdued protests inside the hall. Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman has the story. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, George. And protesters marched peacefully for hours before arriving at this park. You can see how close it is to the United Center. Then a splinter group came charging down this hill and began dismantling this barrier, actually removing parts of that steel cage, pouring into this buffer zone before hundreds of riot police converged, pushing them out, arresting 4 of them.
This morning, Chicago police bracing for another round of protests.
Come on, let's go!
After dozens breached the outer perimeter of the DNC late Monday.
Right now, you see protesters having broken through this barrier, trying to get into the convention center.
They gathered earlier, thousands of them, to condemn the Biden-Harris administration's handling of the Israel-Gaza conflict, the through line of the dozens of protest actions planned here this week. The march wove through Chicago, north of the convention center, where hundreds of officers on bikes formed a rolling barricade, hemming them in. Then, as they filled this park, tensions rising.
Some of them have wanted to turn right towards here, and you may be able to see that barricade of police. That's towards the convention center, and this appears to have set off some sort of fight.
That park right up against the DNC's steel cage perimeter, and there a smaller group of protesters disassembling parts of it, pouring into the breach and taunting police on the other side.
Riot police are moving in. They're about to push back these protesters who burst through this fence a few moments ago. They've got batons.
Riot police moving in from 2 sides, squeezing the protesters out of the buffer zone. After an hour, clearing the park.
Once they breached the fence, well, we knew that was problematic. We had to put an end to it.
Now, workers spent all night here reinforcing this barrier. You can see they added concrete and even these steel brackets here. Now, one of the events that law enforcement has been most concerned about is happening tonight. It's an unpermitted protest outside the Israeli consulate here in Chicago, set to take place at just about the time that former President Obama and others will take the stage at the United Center. Robin.
All right. Our thanks to you, Matt.
Yeah, and ABC News, of course, covering the Democratic National Convention in Chicago tonight in prime time. It streams on ABC News Live at 7 Eastern, then here on the network at 10.